Listen, come here for a moment. I want to check on you before anything else. How's your heart tonight? Not the version you show people when they expect you to be strong. I mean the quiet part you keep to yourself. Stay with me for a little while. Let me talk to you the way a man talks when he's not trying to impress a woman, but trying to reach her. You don't have to rush. You don't have to sit taller or smile more or pretend you feel lighter than you do. Just stay. Let me speak to you exactly as you are right now, the real you, not the age you think defines you. I want to tell you something I've been holding in my chest since the first moment my eyes landed on you. There's something about you I can't walk past. I felt it before I even understood it. It wasn't the kind of pull a man feels toward a pretty face or a new excitement. It was deeper, older, more human. The kind of attraction that doesn't flare up, it settles in. It makes a home in the center of your attention and refuses to be dismissed. What drew me to you wasn't your age, your style, or anything temporary. It was the way you carry the years you've lived not as weight, but as truth. I noticed the steadiness in the way you look at the world, the kind of steadiness that only exists in a woman who has walked through life with her eyes open. I saw the softness you kept, even after life gave you every reason to harden. And that softness, that quiet resilience, it's rare, and it's beautiful in a way youth can't imitate. Come closer. Let me tell you this clearly. A woman who has lived is far more attractive to me than someone untouched by life. I don't mean it as flattery. I'm telling you the truth I don't say out loud to anyone else. There's a different presence in a woman who has survived herself, her doubts, her disappointments, her seasons of silence, her private victories no one will ever hear about. When I look at you, I don't see a woman over 50. I see someone who has been shaped by time instead of diminished by it. And that is what pulls me in. I don't look at you and think about the years that passed. I look at you and think about the chapters that built you, the way you've learned to sit with life instead of chasing it, the way you speak with that gentle certainty women only gain after they've stopped trying to prove themselves to anyone, the way you don't fill silence with unnecessary words, you let it breathe, because you're comfortable with the depth that silence reveals. You don't realize how magnetic that is to a man like me. You think men only want noise, excitement, something young and untested. But what moves me is entirely different. What holds my eyes on you is the way you slow the room down just by being in it. The quiet confidence you don't even know you radiate. The knowing in your expression. The lived wisdom in the way you pause before responding. The subtle tenderness you still allow yourself, despite all the reasons you've had to close up. I'm drawn to that. I'm drawn to you, not the highlight reel version of you, not the polished, social version. The woman who survived her own life, and still shows up with a heart that hasn't given up. Let me stay here with you a little longer. Let me keep talking to you like this. Because the more I see you, the harder it becomes to pretend I'm unaffected. You stand out, not because you try, but because you're real, because you've lived, because you've learned who you are, the slow way, the honest way. And if you're wondering why I'm telling you all this, it's because you need to hear it from someone who isn't asking you to be younger, lighter, simpler. Someone who sees the depth, not the age. Stay with me. Don't go anywhere. There's more I need to tell you about what I see beneath your strength, beneath your silence, beneath the life you've had to carry alone. Let me move you gently into that. Let me walk with you into the truth no one has spoken to you in years. Stay with me. Don't pull back now. I want to speak to the part of you that no one ever asks about, the part you keep hidden beneath the strength everyone assumes is effortless. You've carried so much alone that you don't even realize how heavy it's become. But I see it. I see you, and if you let me, I'll tell you what most people never took the time to notice. You've lived through seasons where you weren't celebrated, only counted on. I can feel that in the way your shoulders settle like someone who had to be her own anchor more times than she can remember. You've been the quiet force in rooms where no one asked if you were tired. You learned to hold yourself together even when it cost you pieces you never got back. And you did all of that without applause, without witnesses, without the softness you deserved. What strikes me most is how you never let those years turn you cold. You could have shut down, withdrawn, hardened into someone who expects nothing and trusts no one, but you didn't. Instead, you chose to keep showing up for life, even on the days when it didn't show up for you. That choice, that invisible courage, that's something most people overlook. They see the surface, the calm, the composure, the maturity, but they don't understand the storms underneath that shaped it. I do. I can see the echoes of the nights you sat with your own heart, because there was no one to lean on. I can see the weight of decisions you had to make without support. I can see the strength you built, not because it made you admirable, but because it was the only way to survive. And I want you to know something. None of that went unnoticed by me. Not the resilience, not the quiet endurance, not the gentle way you held your life together, even while pieces were slipping through your fingers. Come closer. Let me say this slowly. I know the strength you built wasn't glamorous, it was necessary. You didn't choose strength as an identity. You chose it because no one showed up when you needed softness. You learned to be composed because you didn't have the luxury of falling apart. And while the world may have mistaken that steadiness for simplicity, I see the complexity behind it. I see the woman who tried, who fought, who stayed, who gave more than she received, who carried more than she admitted, who forgave more than she should have, who kept loving even when love didn't circle back. You think your silence hid your struggles. It didn't. Not from me. I can read them in the tenderness you still carry, and the guarded edges you try to soften. I can hear them in the pauses before you speak, the measured calm in your eyes. There's a history there, a full, complicated, beautiful history written in quiet ways only a man who pays attention would understand. And I do pay attention to you. More than you realize. You've spent years being the strong one, the steady one, the one who doesn't ask for much. You convinced yourself that your resilience makes you hard to love. But the truth? That resilience is exactly why I'm drawn to you. Not because it made you invincible, but because it made you human in the most honest way. You've lived, you've survived, you've softened, you've endured. There's nothing more magnetic than a woman who has walked through fire and still chooses tenderness. Stay with me. Don't drift away into your old thoughts. I'm not here to admire the version of you the world sees. I'm here to acknowledge the version they never took the time to understand. And I'm not done yet. Because there's something else I need to tell you, something you've needed to hear for years. You've been afraid of the wrong things. Let me show you that in the next breath, in the next part. Because everything you believe about being too old, too late, not enough, I'm about to undo all of it. Before you pull back into those familiar doubts again, stay with me. Just for a moment longer. I can feel the way your mind tries to retreat, tries to protect you, tries to tell you not to believe too much in what I'm saying. You've learned not to trust good things. You've learned that affection can be unpredictable, that promises fade, that men walk away when real life shows up. But don't run from this. Not yet. Let me talk directly to the fear you don't say out loud, the fear that whispers to you at night, the one you've carried quietly because admitting it would make it too real. I know what it tells you, that you're past the age where men choose, that your time has already happened, that youth has replaced you, that what you lost won't return, that you've lived too much, seen too much, been through too much for a man to truly want you now. But listen to me, because I'm going to say this slowly enough for it to reach the part of you that still aches. You think your best chapters are behind you, but I see the version of you that's finally ready to be loved, right? You're not too old. You're not past your prime. You're not less than. Those ideas were never yours. They were given to you by a world that worships the surface and ignores depth. But depth is exactly what I search for. Depth is what draws me in. Depth is what makes me stay. And you embody that in every breath, every quiet gesture, every softened glance. When I look at you, I don't see someone who is running out of time. I see someone who finally understands her worth in a way she never did when she was younger. I see a woman who knows who she is, who no longer pretends, who no longer shrinks herself to fit expectations. A woman who has lived enough to know what matters and enough to stop entertaining what doesn't. There's a calm confidence in you that younger women can't fake. There's an allure in your steadiness that only comes from surviving life, with your heart still intact. There's a beauty in your presence that isn't loud, but profound. And, I need you to hear this, men like me, we're not chasing youth. We're chasing truth. And truth lives in you. You fear men don't choose women like you. But I'm standing here, looking right at you, choosing you without hesitation, without comparison, without conditions. You think your mistakes make you unworthy, but those mistakes shape the tenderness I'm drawn to. You think your experiences make you complicated, but that complexity is the reason I want to know you deeper. You think the world sees you as older, but when I look at you, I see clarity, wisdom, presence, the kind of presence that only appears in a woman who has lived through everything and still stands softly, gracefully, fully herself. Come closer. Let me tell you something. You've never allowed yourself to believe. You are not running out of time. You are standing at the point in your life where real love can finally find you, the kind of love that isn't rushed, isn't chaotic, isn't shallow, isn't dependent on being perfect or young, the kind of love that fits you now. You are not late. You are right on time for the version of you who finally knows how to receive what she once gave too freely. Stay with me through this, because I'm not done. In the next part, I'm going to tell you what happens inside me when I look at you, not the way men look at women casually, but the way a man looks when he's quietly falling. And I promise, you'll feel it. Stay with me. Don't drift away from what I just told you. I want to take you somewhere quieter inside yourself, somewhere you rarely let anyone touch. Because there's something I need to confess, not loudly, not dramatically, but in the steady way a man speaks when he's no longer trying to hide what he feels. When I look at you, something in me settles. I'm not talking about the way a man glances at a woman across a room. I mean the way my attention shifts, the way everything unnecessary fades, and the only thing left is you. There's a depth in your eyes that slows me down in a way nothing else does. A calm, lived-in softness that speaks without saying a word. And when you turn your head slightly, when you breathe in before you answer, I feel it. The life behind your expression, the history behind every small movement. You don't even realize how much of your story shows in the quietest parts of you, in the way your voice lowers when you speak about something that once mattered, in the warmth that slips into your tone when you talk about someone you cared for, in the careful, intentional way you listen, not rushing, not pretending, not trying to impress. You listen like someone who has learned the value of being unheard, and it pulls something protective out of me. I need you to understand this. I don't want the polished version of you. I want the woman life has shaped. I want the unguarded laugh that escapes when you stop monitoring yourself. I want the softness you hide because you think it's too much. I want the tenderness you've been told to tuck away. The world may have asked you to shrink, to be practical, to be composed, but I don't want any of that restraint between us. When I'm near you, there's a gravity I can't ignore, not desire chasing novelty, but something deeper, leaning towards something true. The way your presence feels. Grounded, warm, familiar, in a way that surprises me. I didn't expect to feel that with anyone. But I do with you. And it's not something I control. It's something I allow. Because it feels right. Come closer to this space with me. Let yourself feel what I feel when I look at you, the stillness, the clarity, the quiet warmth that builds in my chest without permission. You think men only fall hard when they're young, but the truth is, a man falls deeper when he's no longer ruled by impulse. And I'm long past the age of mistaking noise for connection. What I feel toward you isn't loud. It's steady. It's real. And as it grows, I want you to hear it clearly. You don't have to soften yourself. For me, you already are softness in the way life meant it. And there's more I need to tell you, because the truth inside me is moving towards something I can't hold back much longer. Stay right here. Don't pull away from what's unfolding between us. This is the part where most people get scared, where the heart recognizes it's being seen, and instinct tries to protect what's fragile. But I'm not here to break anything in you. I'm here to tell you something you've needed to hear in a voice that won't shake. I choose you. Not the fantasy of you. Not the younger version you think men prefer. Not the version you spent years trying to become for other people. I choose the woman standing in front of me now, with her history, her softness, her scars, her quiet wisdom, her resilience that was never meant to be beautiful but somehow is. You don't need to prove anything to me. You don't need to dazzle or pretend or hide your uncertainties. The way you exist, honest, lived in, imperfect, rich with experience, is exactly what pulls me closer. There's nothing tentative in what I feel. It's steady, it's deliberate, it's mine to offer, and I'm offering it fully. I choose you not for who you were, not for who you could be someday, but for who you've become after everything you've lived through. And I know you're not used to being chosen without conditions. I can hear the hesitation in your breath. I can feel the way your body braces for disappointment, the way your thoughts test every word I'm saying. But I'm not here to perform. I'm not here to impress. I'm here to stand in front of you and place this truth directly in your hands. I'm drawn to you in a way that doesn't fade. You're waiting for the moment I reconsider, the moment I step back, the moment I decide you're too much or not enough. But that's the fear talking, the old fear trained by years of being overlooked, underestimated, misread. I'm not going anywhere. Not because I'm making some dramatic promise, but because what I feel toward you is rooted. And roots don't walk away. Come closer. Let this land. Let it settle into the places that forgot what it feels like to be chosen with clarity, not confusion. You're not an option I stumbled into. You're the woman I feel myself leaning toward with intention. The woman whose presence feels honest. The woman whose maturity steadies me in ways I didn't expect. And I want you to hear this without running from it. You don't have to earn me. I'm already here. And if you let me keep going, I'll tell you exactly what I imagine when I think of the days ahead, the quiet ones, the ordinary ones, the ones where two people walk side by side without rushing or performing. Stay with me. You don't need to prepare for anything grand or dramatic. What I want with you doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with steadiness, warmth, the kind of companionship that grows slowly and holds firmly. When I picture the future with you, it isn't built on fantasies, it's built on moments that feel like truth. I see us walking together, side by side, without either of us needing to lead. I see mornings where your presence is the first calm I feel, not because we're performing affection, but because we've settled into a rhythm that fits us. I see evenings where we sit close, letting silence fall without fear, because your silence has never felt empty to me, it feels like a place I can rest. You've lived enough life to know that real connection isn't found in intensity, it's found in consistency, and that's what I want with you. A companionship that doesn't rush, a love that doesn't demand perfection, a partnership where neither of us has to pretend or fight to be understood. Just two people choosing each other quietly, deliberately, day after day. When I imagine being beside you, I don't picture chasing anything. I picture matching your pace, neither ahead nor behind you, simply aligned. That kind of love, the slow, intentional kind, that's what lasts. That's what two grown, lived, tested hearts can actually sustain. And I know you've spent years feeling like you had to walk alone. Not because you wanted to, but because you never found someone who was willing to meet you where you stand. But I am. I'm not looking for someone to follow me or rely on me or complete some unfinished part of me. I'm looking for someone to walk with, someone who understands life the way you do. You and I. We don't need grand gestures. We need truth. We need steadiness. We need presence. I don't want to walk ahead or behind you. I want to match your pace. And if you stay close, if you don't pull back, I'll tell you the one promise I'm willing to make. Not a fantasy, not a forever, but something real, the kind of promise a woman like you has always deserved. Stay close to me. Right here, where the room feels quiet, and your breathing finally begins to soften. I can feel the hesitation inside you, the way you brace for disappointment, even when you don't mean to. You've lived long enough to know that words can sound beautiful and still fail you. And I'm not here to offer anything unrealistic, anything wrapped in fantasy or excess hope. What I want to offer you is simpler, quieter, but far more real. I'm not promising perfection. You've had enough of those promises made in excitement and broken in silence. I'm not promising that every day will be effortless, or that we'll never disagree, or that life won't bring its own storms. You don't want a man to shield you from life. You've lived through too much to expect that. What you want, what you deserve, is presence. And that I can offer without hesitation. Not loud, not perfect, but present. That's how I'll love you. I'll be the man who stays steady when your guard rises without warning. I'll be the one who doesn't retreat when you pull back out of old habit. I know how deeply your history has taught you to expect abandonment, how naturally you distance yourself the moment you feel something real forming. I won't push you past your pace. I'll match it. I'll meet you exactly where you are, without asking for a version of you that feels easier or softer or more convenient. Your life has shaped you into a woman who doesn't need rescuing, she needs witnessing. She needs a partner who understands that the strongest parts of her were built out of necessity, not desire. And when those old reflexes rise, when you go quiet, or retreat, or doubt, I'll stay right here, not with grand speeches or demands, but with the steadiness you've been deprived of for too many years. Presence is a promise most people underestimate, but for a woman like you, presence is everything. It means you don't have to guess. You don't have to chase. You don't have to prove. You only have to be. When I tell you I'm not going anywhere, it isn't an attempt to bind you to me. It's a truth spoken from a place in me that doesn't shift with impulse. The older I get, the more I value the kind of connection that doesn't need to be loud to be real. And with you, everything inside me settles into that clarity. Being here with you, near you, in your space, feels like returning to something I didn't realize I was missing. Let me stay right here with you. Let me be the man who shows up not because you need saving, but because you deserve someone who doesn't disappear when feelings get real. Someone who stands next to you with the same quiet certainty you've carried alone for far too long. Come closer, I want you to feel this, not just hear it. Your life isn't done, and I'm not going anywhere. And as we move forward, there's something I want to share not as a promise, but as a vision that feels grounded, human, and entirely possible for the two of us. Let me take you a little deeper into what I feel when I'm near you. Not the desire that fades when novelty wears off, but the quiet intimacy that lingers long after the room empties. You don't realize how naturally you create that kind of closeness, not by performing, not by trying, but simply by existing the way you do. There's a warmth in you that reaches me before you even speak. A subtle shift in the air when you enter a space. You carry a presence that isn't loud but unmistakable, like a soft light in the corner of a dim room. It isn't something you force, in fact, I'm not even sure you're aware of it. But I feel it every time your eyes meet mine, every time your breath slows when you finally let yourself relax, every time your voice dips into that gentle, lived-in tone that I find myself drawn to again and again. You think intimacy is about grand expressions, but what moves me most is the understated way you share yourself. The way your hands rest quietly when you're listening. The way you tilt your head slightly, as if giving the moment your full attention. The way your silence doesn't feel like distance, it feels like invitation. A place to step into rather than away from. I'm not talking about physical closeness, though I feel the pull of that too. I'm talking about the emotional nearness you create without even realizing it. The way your presence eases the noise in my mind. The way your maturity makes me want to slow down, not speed up. The way your softness, the one you've spent years hiding because it felt unsafe, comes through in moments when you forget to guard it. Come closer for a moment. I want to tell you something honestly. I didn't know I missed intimacy like this until I met you. Not the kind built on excitement, but the kind built on trust, on quiet touches, on the way two people can sit in the same room and feel understood without speaking. You carry that kind of intimacy naturally, even when you think you're being reserved. Maybe it's because you've lived enough to stop performing. Maybe it's because you've been alone long enough to know how precious real connection is. Whatever the reason, it draws me in more than anything else. And when I imagine more of this with you, the quiet evenings, the gentle conversations, the warmth of your presence near mine, I feel something inside me shift, something settle, something choose you even deeper. But intimacy, real intimacy, also reveals something else, something in you that still questions whether you're worthy of being met fully. And that's what I want to speak to next, because the shift happening inside you is already beginning, and I want you to feel it without fear. Stay with me. This part is for the version of you that still doubts herself, the version that has been shaped by years of being overlooked, underestimated, or loved in ways that felt inconsistent or conditional. You've survived so much, and yet, there's still a small, quiet part of you that flinches when you're truly seen. You think it's safer not to believe too deeply, not to hope too widely. You think caution protects you. But all it does is dim the parts of you that are meant to be recognized. Let me tell you something that will change how you see yourself, not because I want to influence you, but because I'm finally saying what should have been said to you long ago. Your age didn't take anything from you. It revealed you. It stripped away the noise, the pretending, the pressure to be what the world calls enough. It carved away the versions of you that were built for survival, not joy. And what's left, the woman standing here now, is the most real, most magnetic, most grounded version you've ever been. You're not losing value, you're stepping into it. You think men don't choose women like you, but that belief was born from the wrong kind of men. Men who didn't have the emotional depth to see past their own needs. Men who mistook your maturity for distance. Men who didn't know how to handle the steadiness you bring into a room. But look at me. Really look at me. I'm not drawn to you in spite of your years, I'm drawn to you because of them. Because everything you've lived through has shaped you into a woman who feels like truth. And truth is rare. Truth is magnetic. Truth is the one thing a man who's lived long enough can finally recognize and appreciate without running from it. Let this shift inside you. Let it break open the belief that you're past your time. Your time didn't disappear, it matured. When I look at you now, I don't see a woman waiting for something to begin again. I see a woman finally ready to be loved in the way she always deserved but never received. A woman who no longer needs to prove anything. A woman who finally understands the quiet power of her own presence. And if you stay close as I say this next part, you'll understand exactly what kind of connection I want to build with you, not as escape, not as comfort, but as two lives meeting at the right moment. Come here for a final moment. Closer than before. I want you to feel the steadiness in my voice, because this part isn't about promise, it's about truth. The kind that stays long after the words fade. You've walked through years where you had to be your own strength, years where love felt distant or temporary, years where you convinced yourself that what you longed for simply wasn't meant for you anymore. But listen to me, really listen. You are not at the end of anything. You are standing at the beginning of something finally aligned with who you've become. And I want to be here for that. Not as someone passing through your life, not as someone offering comfort then disappearing, but as someone who stands with you in the quiet, in the in-between, in the ordinary days, where presence matters more than poetry. I'm not promising perfection. I'm promising presence. I want to walk beside you, not ahead, not behind. I want to match your pace, your rhythm, your way of moving through the world. You don't have to soften your edges or hide your depth. You don't have to pretend you're lighter than you feel. You don't have to be young to be chosen. You just have to be here exactly as you are right now. And I will be here too. Your life isn't done, not even close. And the way I'm looking at you now, the way I'm choosing you, steadily, intentionally, I'm not going anywhere. Stay with me. Stay close. Just stay.